Hi, how's it going? This is Chris over at 3D Palace again. As you're probably aware from the last video that had me in, I've just wasted 6 seconds. Why do I keep saying this? Anyway, we're going to be working some more on the head, which is this little fella here. So I'm just going to get in close to that, and there's a couple of bits that I'm going to need today for the detailing process. So look down here and see what we got. That'll do, that and that. So I'm going to just quickly right click, hide unselected. I'm going to get this and just make a copy of it and bring it all the way up here. I'm going to hide the original one down here as well. Okay, so now we have this and this. And this is going to be the basic part that I start detailing the head with, you see. I'm also going to need some sort of a surface to build on for some parts that are basically optics and stuff. So what I'm going to do is create a box using auto grid. And I could just create it out using this as a kind of a table, look, see, like that. Comes in handy. Bring it down. And Autodesk should make a new tool for me to call it a table out of nowhere or something. Just, you know, come in handy. Anyway, bring that down. And I'm going to start work on the optics, which I can then reduce in size as I go along. Now, optics are easy enough to basically get away with. Therefore, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with a cylinder. So, just pull it out. And the size doesn't matter, because obviously I can work from what we've got, whatever we've got here. Okay, so I'm just going to change my height segments to that many. 18 sides seems fine. I can probably do with less actually. Let's change it down to maybe 12 sides for the minute. Compared to editable poly. Because otherwise we'll end up with like boatloads and boatloads of polygons. And I know I've said, oh, it doesn't matter too much, you know, we're doing high poly. It does after a while. Your model becomes a little bit bogged down and slow. Anyway, start at the top here and just go straight into an extrude. Actually, rather than extrude, I'll go straight into bevel. You can always tell when I've started like re-recording for the day, can't you? Because my normal kind of prosaic speak becomes just disjointed nonsense. Let autosave doing its thing. It'll take a minute. It's too high. We need to make a little thing for the optic in this. So and then up and out, up and out. Like this, and we create this kind of curved surface on the top. Chink. Not quite right, a bit more height to it. Damn it, that's what I was going to do. I was going to make a coffee for myself. I've forgotten something. Never mind, I'll make one in a minute. Okay, so we get that shape there, see how it's rounded? Now, from this, we can then start looking at applying maybe an open subdiv or something, so I'll just stick that on just so I can see how it looks. Now it's still very smooth, so if I drop down here to my editable poly, show end result, I'm going to swift loop, I can start like tightening it up a bit. Turn this off briefly. What would be really quite useful is if we had like a little pop-up window where you could see like a smooth variation of the model. I'm just going to get rid of this. A smooth variation of the model so that I could go, yeah, that works. That's what I need. Around this, just bolstering the edges. This is why I started with a lower poly count and went up from there. Okay, let's have a look. Much better. Okay, so that gives us our optic. Now, come in here, check the shape it's given me. That looks okay. Right click, convert to editable polygon, done. Okay, so I've got these two parts here. I've got a rivet and I've got an optic. So what I can start doing is looking at placing these on this. So I'll go to my object paint and I'm going to make a list. Just add things to it. And I'm going to change the names of them so I know what they are. Okay, and I'll keep my list up here and paint on. Scene's fine. Paint with. Objects in list also works. As you can see, we can now start painting straight onto it. Okay, now I'm going to start with my simple rivet because that's what I need, and I also need to maybe refine this just a little bit more. I'm not sure. Decisions, eh? I know what I'll do. I'll keep them separate. Okay, that way I can up the resolution if I decide to later on. Okay, so what I'm going to do is start drawing on the rivets. So, for example, I could have a rivet there and there, like that. And put one there, there, come around the edges, making sure it all fits, you know. It's obviously quite an important consideration. And what I'm doing is I'm just kind of finding roughly what I think is the halfway mark, and then going. And remember what I talked about with riveting, is that rivets tend to be uneven because they tend to be clustered in areas where you need them anyway in the real world. Just go and have a look at like an old ship. There's normally one in most major cities if you want some reference for good examples. It's weird because if you look at real riveting, it's so kind of spaced out that it doesn't actually look real in that respect. Okay, see how that one's offset, so it doesn't really quite look right just there, although it's an equal kind of spacing between those two. I think I'll keep it anyway, but I'm just kind of pointing it out to you. Okay, now I'm going to turn off that and then turn it back on again. Change the scale on this to maybe 60, and that's obviously so that I can go into these. Now it's up to you how many rivets you want. You might want lots of rivets, you might just want a couple. So give it some thought. And obviously if you're making a mistake putting things too close to the edge, don't be afraid to use your undo tool. If 3ds Max is starting to act sluggish, save yourself a workbench. Future self will thank you if you do. Future self might even buy you a beer. I know my future self's going to buy me a beer in a few days, and it'll be delightful. I do enjoy a beer. So E2 here gives the impression that we've had to add more strength to it because of that curving area. Up here we can't really add one because of that, and we're not going to add them on the inside because it seems silly adding them on the inside there. We can make a different shape to add on the inside if you really want one in there. Now, again, come out of that, just right clicking, go back into optics. You can start placing an optic if you want to. In order to get this to work more efficiently, let's have a look. I'm going to bring the scale down for the minute 40%. Okay, let's raise that up 60%, see if that fits still. I'm going to have the optics being very uneven as well. So I'll have those ones in, then I'll turn it off, turn it on again, turn the optics down to 40. Okay, giving us the impression that we've got different kinds of cameras sitting in there, like that. Okay, that's actually pretty good, I like that. I don't really think I'm going to need to add any more to that in the whole vein of the less is more kind of thing. Let's have a look at our polygons, see how it's looking. Not bad at all, actually. Okay, then now let's see how this looks with an extra level of subdiv on it. It looks okay. I'm certainly not complaining. Thing is, how many polygons is that going to give us? Let's have a look. Many polygons. I think what I'll do is I'll keep the open subdivision modifier on, and that way I can turn it off again later if I so choose. Right, now as for these fellas, let's start attaching them to each other. First things first though, it's obviously going to make me... I presume I've got a setting in here on that I've forgotten about, but hang on a second, I'm going to hide this selection. I'll just leave the bits in the face, which is interesting because you can see the shape of the face from them. Okay, and now we're going to convert them all to flat poly. And then start attaching them to each other. Which is a lot easier, funnily enough, because I've hidden the rest of them all. Oh, autosave's doing its thing. I'm starting to fantasize about coffee, which isn't a good thing. Come on, me beauty, you can do this. There we go. One there as well. And these ones there and there. Any more? No, it's like a little star constellation, isn't it? It's quite nice. Okay, now just unhide all. That's how it all zooms back into place again. And yes, I'm going to collapse this. And then I'm going to attach those to it. There we go. Now excellent. Okay, so with the head done, because it is, next thing to do is start moving on to the arms. So I shall see you in that bit. Till then, bye bye for now.